that matched. It's kind of like you go to, you're in school and then you have pop quizzes and then you have midterm exams and then you have final exams. When you were in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, they had a final exam that tests you to see if what you wanted is what you really wanted. You fail it. It seems like the same thing keeps happening. Even in video games, at the end of the round, you face a dragon. So when I learned how to gamify life, anytime I start seeing certain things break down that match a pattern, slightly different, but match like this, the seasons are a pattern that match this season of my life. I go through this momentum, all this stuff is great, everything is good, and all of a sudden there's a series of obstacles I need to overcome. I can either use those obstacles to prepare me for the next level, or I allow the obstacles. Oh my goodness, I had all this momentum, but then I keep falling down, and why can't I just stay in momentum? You don't even realize you're literally preparing for your next test. So I kept seeing the test inside of every single one of those iterations. And now, because you create a game that you actually like playing, I've gamified my entire life to be able to see certain things. I designed my office. My wife holds me accountable. I don't have any yes people in my life. Oh my goodness, Garrain. I'm like, no, tell me the shit that I need to hear, and I give you full permission to hold me accountable. So because I don't have yes people in my life, and my life is designed to be able to spot the tests, and for me to be able to acknowledge any level of effort or progress, because when I know I'm progressing, I know that I'm succeeding. So just being aware of how growth looks at all turns and being willing to be surprised by the stuff that I don't know, like a boy that comes up in a new baby. I had no idea what I was in store for. And I was here for it and ready for it. And it's still the same sequence of patterns. It's just going to look different.
Yeah, I've read that Jesus used to put children in his speeches because they had the beginner's mind. They would have an open heart to everything. So at 45, do you really feel like you have a beginner's mind? Do you have the heart and the joy of a child no matter what adult responsibilities and challenges come your way?
For most of the time. So it's weird because I think Conor McGregor said it best. It's like most people, they'll sleep on a win. Like when they start winning, then they forgot how they got there.
Yeah.
So they'll sleep on a win and then they'll wake up with a loss, not realizing when you're winning is where you got to double down on what got you there, but you got to know what got you there. You start doing all these flyers and you start saying yes to a bunch of things, and all of a sudden you stop doing all of that and you think that what you're doing now, when you're in the momentum, is what's creating the momentum. No, you don't plant a seed and it grows overnight. Only thing that grows overnight is a weed. What you did last season.
Yes.
What you did last season.
Yeah.
You're actually harvesting right now. So you got to remember what you did last season. And then you got to do more of that while you're winning, so that next harvest season, and you can keep the sustainability. That's why people get money, lose it, get love, lose it, because they don't know the how to sustain that vibration over a long period of time.
I heard Michael Beckwith say this. He was being interviewed by Oprah. He's like, some people, they get wealth and they lose it because they're not a vibrational match for it.
Correct.
I mean, I can feel that in my throat, my heart when I share it with you.
Yeah.
There's been many times where I've had money and I've lost it. I was $80,000 in debt. You've been in debt. Like, there's some weeds that we had to clean out.
Absolutely.
In order to be of service, right? But the courage that it takes, man, and I want to be respectful of everyone's process, the courage that it takes to have the self-love and to have the fortitude to actually rip the weeds out can be so fucking confronting, because then you have to change everything in your life that you've built a house on sand for.
Yeah.
That was your deal in the music industry.
Absolutely.
You were bouncing around. You were Ludacris. You made all this money. Then you were living in a car.
Yep.
I mean, touch on whatever parts of that journey of your life resonate with you now.
So at that time, I just never had anybody in my corner. I didn't believe in mentors. I thought I could do everything by myself. So I didn't even know the power of the ego. So I just relied on talent. But skill versus talent, two different things. I would take an unskilled, I would take an untalented person that is willing to develop the skill over a longer period of time, than I would just a talent person because it's only going to get you so far. Now, if you have talent and you're willing to develop your skill, that's where the unicorn-like person starts to happen. I only relied on talent because if my talent, and this is good, everybody pay attention, and I noticed with a lot of people, if my talent was a little bit better than other people around me, perfect place to hide. Because then I would get off on, oh my goodness, Garrain, you're crushing and everything. So there was this unconscious deep need to feel needed by other people around me, which where I know where it came from now, but back then I didn't know. So I'd stay. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the man. Yeah, I'm the man. Yeah, I'm the man. Next thing you know, what happened to everything? I don't know what happened, but I gotta get back there. But then you're so used to people seeing you a certain way. Oh, gee, I'm just trying to be like you. No, you have no idea. I want to kill myself. And I'm just going to keep smiling because I want to save face. I'm going to keep this mask or over justify. When I look in the mirror and the truth shows up deep down on the inside, I actually don't like myself. I was trying to impress you so I can fit in because maybe I think I'm a weirdo. Maybe I'm afraid of my real self. These are real conversations that go on inside of the majority of the suffering of humanity in the world. Like, and I work with them. I have these conversations, and you can take it all the way back to a broken child or a child that never felt seen or heard or like they mattered or, hey, what do you want to do? I remember being little. My mom says, well, that doesn't match and you can't grow your hair out. And I just remember yelling. I'm 6, so I don't even know what I'm fighting for. I said, Mom, ask me if I love it. And I think my hard-headedness and didn't get trapped into do what I say to do what I say to do school, do what I say to do whoever, is why I am where I am today. My hard-headedness created a pathway where I had the power to choose my own destiny.
Is it hard-headedness or is it really just a clean, crispy connection with your soul?
Well, if I connect the dots looking backwards, I was called hard-headed. Yeah. That was literally that was the label when you followed your soul. My mom, and I love her to life. I'm not going to say love her to death. I love her to life. She's like, why you got to be so hard-headed? All right, well, I'm hard-headed. That's the name. That's the label. And it doesn't help that at the time I had a speech impediment and diagnosed with delayed learning. So what would normally take you 6 days to learn, take me 6 months to learn. Even right now, you give me something new, my process is much slower. I turned it into superhero power because most people go fast, and they got to go back and course correct. I never have to course correct because my process is like this, so I don't miss anything. So now the trained instinct is to see a lot of fast things, but my process sees everything like this. So for that, I've learned how to reparent myself and tell myself what I needed to hear. It took me 30-something years, but if I didn't, I will probably be dead right now based off of what was going on inside of my brain.
The fruits of that are so clear. I think it was 2016, 2017, you put your mom through fashion school. Is that true?
Yeah.
And when you did that, you also, as a byproduct, created the man that now is a parent to 2 beautiful babies and an older child. So you're healing this generational pain, but it happens in ripples. It's almost like as you peel the onion, you just keep crying because onions make you cry.
Yes.
So you peel in the family onion, you keep crying. But then when you get to the heart of it all, there's just more Garrain.
Yeah.
There's just more you. And it was actually there the whole time. And this is a concept that if I really feel into this, I think about how much time that I used to judge myself for wasting on not having a podcast, on not starting it. I sat in the corner for like 3 years from 2012 to 2015. Like, should I do it? This back and forth. Are you really good enough to do this? Man, you can't make any money with that. The game that I was playing was so low vibe. It was so resonating based on all the imperfections that I was focusing on instead of realizing that those imperfections are just me. Right. There's just more fucking Josh with the imperfections.
Absolutely.
But yet when you put your mom through fashion school, there had to have been a deep, deep healing, not from your ego. Look how cool Garrain is. He put his mom through fashion school. There had to have been another part of that onion.
Well, here's the crazy thing that I haven't shared about that story. I always had a vision of retiring my mom and winning 5 Grammys and everything. But I was like when I was 13 years old, and that was through music.
Yeah.
And when I left the music industry, I was like, but for some reason, I still feel like I'm going to win 5 Grammys and retire my mom. So I just held the vision, and I held the vision, and I held the vision. I was in the wellness industry, and I ended up being like one of the top wellness entrepreneurs in an $8 billion company. And it was like the award ceremony, and they called me. They're like, congratulations. They take top 250 wellness entrepreneurs, and they're going to give them a huge bonus. And I'm like, cool. Where are they hosting it? And they said the same place where they hosted the Grammys. I ended up winning 5 awards and walking on the red carpet with my mom. I was like, oh my God, this is what I felt when I was 13. So I'm walking on the red carpet with my mom. I get to the end of the red carpet. I said, Mom, this is 2015. Call your boss. And I just gonna feel into that. The look she had on her face, working a 9-to-5 job, just eating her life away. And I said, Mom, call your boss. Tell him you're not going back to work. She was like, what? What, baby? Mom, I'm retiring you. I'm retiring. And I didn't know. I was like, I got to find her something to do. She can't be bored. In the midst of me retiring her, I was like helping her like clean her house. I found this journal. My mom never threw anything away. And I gave her so much shit about like being a pack rat. This was one that really paid off. I found a journal from when she was like in college or something like that. I mean, old. And she wrote this list of goals, things that she wanted to do before she died. Mind you, my mom is almost 70, so I'm like looking at this list, and one of them said, become a fashion designer. And I want to make sure that, I'm going to give that up so that I can make sure that both of my boys become successful. And I'm holding this journal. No, she was out of college. She was in real estate school. And I'm like, oh my God, I can fulfill my mom's dream. So that's where the Fashion Institute came from. And I can't tell you how many people are like, man, I want to do that for my mom. I was like, and you can, but you have to understand every action that I took, I thought about my mom having a smile on her face. So things I didn't want to do, I did. Books I didn't want to, courses I didn't want to go to, and I did it. Times I didn't want to wake up, getting healthy, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it. And I was like, oh, I had to become a different person that felt worthy, that could actually hold and sustain the kind of life that can provide for my mom in that way, because she never had a man do that before.
Mm. So then the Constitution is really what we're talking about. It's not just like physical. So health is huge. I love how earlier you were saying that you can have talent, but it's a perfect place to hide, which I totally agree. I think that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work, for sure. Because there's a lot of people that really don't have to try to be great. Basketball, speaking. Have you always been a great speaker? Has that always been a natural thing for you?
Not with somebody that used to talk like this. I had a speech impediment.
Okay, so you grew that part of yourself because you wanted to be of service to your mom? Was that the whole guiding light the whole time?
Well, it was my mom and developing a relationship with my daughter, who I didn't have.
Yes.
I didn't have a relationship, so I'm like trying. Maybe she'll see that I change. I try. Yeah, go ahead.
Because you have a natural talent for speaking, right? And it came from vocal cords that had trouble expressing earlier, which I find so fascinating. Aristotle says that nature hates a vacuum. So it's like there was a big ass vacuum created for you.
Yes. So the type of person that could adapt into speaking in 90-something countries to more than 3.7 million people, I didn't accident my way into that. Like I practice and practice. That's when somebody tells me, oh, I can't speak or I can't sing. I'm like, yeah, you can. You just forgot what it took for you to go from fetal position to crawling, to get up, fall down, get up, fall down, get up, fall down about 70 something thousand times until you adapt into the upright position, which is not even our natural state. The fetal position is. All of that is adaptation and evolution. And so I approached speaking in that way. And I just was like, okay, try it again. Try it again. Speakers boot camp. Try it again. Get feedback. Try it again. Over and over and over. Now put me on any stage, any podcast, any TV show at any time. And the conversation is going to move. The crowd is going to move. Somebody's going to be healed. There's going to be a new insight because every single word, and I'm very picky about the words because I don't want wasted space. Every word that comes out of my mouth, I wholeheartedly believe in.
The trust that you have when you speak, I believe, is based on the experience of tumbling, failing, getting bloody, and then realizing when you're authentically expressing yourself that that's where abundance comes from. We just did a team retreat here, the first retreat I've ever done, and I got more healing as the leader than my team got. And what came through for me was my game. So my game is I am emotionally regulated, and I give abundance through authentically expressing myself.
Yeah.
That's my game. I'm regulated. I express Josh and abundance comes. Now, just because it's easy doesn't mean that it's like going to happen overnight. It might be simple to hear, but that's the game that I'm validating with all the ways that I seek for evidence to validate it.
Yeah.
So along your journey, there had to have been a moment where you stepped on a stage and you were like, how the hell am I going to do this?
Well, here's the thing. That never happened because I found a game to get on stage.
What's that game?
Most people, their nerves are speaking. And I kind of I was so nervous. I would literally run around like where people were sitting. I would run around and high five people, not knowing that I was working out all of the nerves. By the time I got on stage, I was hyped up and ready. So it took me a while to get on stage, but I was practicing long before I got on stage. Plus I was doing a bunch of YouTubes and I don't like it. And I did another one. I don't like it. I did another one. So the reps got in, but when I got on stage, I remember seeing Tony Robbins. He was like, I command the audience. He hit himself. I started running and I'm like, oh, I feel good. And so they were hyped up in the running. That cheering of me creating that happy vortex was coming right to me. And I was like, let's go.
Whoa. So you love that episode? You'll love the one on the screen. Click it and enjoy.